dog in fucking life with no manual. What the fuck am I thinking, dude?
Remember
What'd you
the
get to eat, man? Oh shit, my bad. What?
quarter pounder?
Quarter pounder with cheese. You know what they call that in Europe?
Quarter royale. We all seen Pulp Fiction. It's a popular movie.
Yeah, man. They call it a quarter royale with cheese because of the metric system.
It's like one of the most popular movies ever made. People like probably still think they're like interesting when they say that. Like, dude, you're not interesting. That's not interesting.
All right, what were you gonna say though?
Remember the old stigmatism that men didn't like to ask for directions? And then we all got GPS. Like, men literally put GPS in their phones, so they didn't have to ask. I feel like that's a Whitney Cummings joke or
No,
something.
that's. So, I mean, even that though, like we sort of just make things when we have problems. You know what I mean? Like that's just it's a common thing for like the male, like Joe Rogan was talking about it. He said like women don't invent things. Like they invented like Wi-Fi and like
That's like a pretty awesome thing to invent.
no,
First off,
it's like but he said like like the thing is like it dramatically declines right after that. He's like there's like somebody invented the Wi-Fi, one more girl invented Wi-Fi, the other one invented some
I mean,
medical thing.
there might
And
be
then he's like,
there might be some reasons for that. To be fair, like a woman decides to get pregnant and then she's not asked to come back to her job. You know what? You know what? Whatever. You're right.
they couldn't vote if you're being fair.
I think that a lot of women invent a lot of things. We don't get to hear about it because it's not celebrated.
Because we're not what?
Because they're like a woman's just gonna like a woman's just gonna invent Wi-Fi. You know, just gonna invent Wi-Fi. What about that woman that took a picture of the asteroid? But like, she's not gonna get like on Twitter and be like, "I fucking invented Wi-Fi. Suck my
Why
fucking
not?
big woman."
Why not, dude?
I don't. I'm a man, so I agree. I have the same mentality. I don't get why not either.
Yeah, just like fucking go, like brag. You know what I mean? Like that's what we do.
Dude, I tie my shoes the right way the first time, and I fucking make a tweet about it.
Yeah, like it's a big deal. Like,
I'm 30. To keep that in perspective. No, I'm just playing. No, but
like I do a lot of things. Believe me.
it is weird though that like women would be like, "Hey man, like someone should invent a new way for us to deal with our menstrual cycles," and like 70 years later, eventually someone's like, "All right, we're just gonna call it a tampon."
Yeah, right.
But
That's what I'm saying.
but a man's bleeding from his dick the first day. We're figuring out a way to fucking keep blood down to a minimum.
Well, yeah, and like there's like a group of people, a group of scientists like that are studying this guy's dick. Like they're like they got fucking beakers and fucking lab coats and fucking like.
But back to the guys inventing things. You know, it's kind of weird though. It seems like all the like inventors we know are like white males. You know, like some shit was invented by a guy named like Muhammad, right? Like something had to be invented by. There's so many Muhammads, they had to invent something.
Yeah, Muhammad's definitely came up with something, dude. You're right.
It's just like this seems like the only things that people are like, you know who invented that? But let me guess, a white guy. Because if they weren't a white guy, you wouldn't know who invented.
Well, that's the thing though. Is we like to like learn things about people that look like us.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
I got white people also like do this like weird thing where they like turn like celebrity. I mean, other races may too. I just
you get to speak on white people because you're white.
Well, my experiences are that of a white person.
So that's fair.
I'm speaking on my own. I'm just speaking on my own experience.
Right. Okay, I'm with you.
Forgot where
what were you gonna say though?
What were we talking about before that?
You said something. I don't even know, dude. You said something. About, you said something about being white and being able to do something, which like, duh. You know what I mean? Like,
what the fuck? Where are we going with that?
You're probably gonna be able to do something with it.
I don't know. Doesn't seem important, does it?
Dude, yeah, it does actually. Yeah, rewind your video there.
Oh, it seems like they uh like to make gods out of like oh my god, he invented a Pop Tart. He's like the coolest dude. I'm like, dude, fuck them up.
Dude, hold on, bro. Time out real quick. That was like a really bad analogy.
It does like as bad as it gets, but you can always count on me to
like the
have
guy
the
that
worst.
invented the Pop Tart is a guy. That was an awful analogy, dude.
He's like,
Because I'm totally on board.
he's
But
like,
you need to give me something better, bro.
he's like, he's like, I would fucking marry that man. That's what I'm talking about. Like, everyone's like Tom Brady, like LeBron's the GOAT, da. Like, no, LeBron's the best basketball player. Like,
he's just a person.
right? Like, I don't
He's
know.
just a guy. He's just a guy. It just so happens to put balls in holes.
I mean, and it goes both ways. Like, all these people are like Trump and Dr. Fauci and Bill Gates and anybody else are the worst people. And you're like, yeah, they do suck. It seems like pretty apparent that all these people in charge of everything sucks. It does seem like that seems kind of apparent to me, but.
Right, but it's ironic that it only ever fits like their agenda. Like they don't ever like argue the fact that like their guys suck sometimes too. You know what I mean? Like why is that?
I think COVID showed us that both sides are just gonna point the finger and no one's gonna step up or do shit about shit.
Right.
Democrats are like, why aren't Trump doing more? And the Trump's like, well, you know, the Democrats aren't doing enough. Like, I don't know why I gave a jerk Trump.
It's just a bit. Why? Hey y'all. Why is the
hey y'all
liberals not doing anything there?
I'm from the Upper
by
East
the way,
Side.
You're fired. You're fired.
I grew up in Manhattan. You may have heard of it.
I own a couple towers. I think it's because George Bush. I think that's why he did that. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, bro. But here's my question.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Everybody has something.
Yeah, I'm listening, dude. What's up? Feed me with your knowledge. Hey, man. You're losing me, dude.
What were we talking about, though?
Fuck, dude. I don't even remember this. So I said you're losing me.
Dude, one of us is stoned, and it's not you. So, what's your excuse?
I'm playing a video game.
That's fair. Me too. I think that's honestly. I think that's both of our reasons.
Yeah,
but
right. Are you still streaming?
I just started up again. I don't know. Definitely still playing Pokemon. If that's the real question.
What's up, world?
What up, world?
What up, world?
You're just fumbling, talking through politics.
You want to hear something? Listen to this. I played this game for how many years, right? I just learned that it costs mages a rune to make portals.
It didn't always, but it did then, yeah.
So like I've been like expecting mages to like give me portals, and then when they ask for a tip, I'm like, dude, all it costs is mana. You know what I mean? Like I'm just thinking like, who's the dick?
You. At one point they got rid of the regent fuck shit, but shit, just playing Pokemon. What are you doing? I think Kyler's TV's playing video games.
No, I heard that.
Like, hello. I can't tell if he's just not paying attention or he's not there, but
bro, he is absolutely just ignoring the fuck out of you.
It would just be a lot.
I was gonna say I asked him what he was doing. He didn't answer me.
It'd be just a lot easier to tell if he was or wasn't there if he didn't. For all I know, he is talking. I think I just got beat. God damn, dog.
Why would you think he's talking?
Because I can never hear him half the time he does talk. You guys hear him every time he talks? Like, I don't know. I feel like he talks and then I can't hear him more than he doesn't talk.
What is mirror deathmatch?
In which game?
Overwatch.
It means you guys have the same characters, I'm assuming?
Alright, dude, I gotta go get some food.
I just had spaghetti.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. Simple white people food.
Yeah.
I'd be eating a lot of Hunt Club or some shit if I were you.
Oh, dude, I do.
Josh, I thought you were talking to me as a worker.
You're like, that doesn't seem like a reasonable process or thought.
I'd rather just have Burger King. You ever had that original chicken crispy sandwich?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I've been eating so much of Wendy's, the little spicy sandwiches they have in the 4 for $4. Kind of
Oh, the
fire.
spicy chicken sandwich?
But crispy, spicy. I don't know. Yeah, sure. Kind of fire.
I just tell them spicy chicken. They know what I mean.
But this is like the little kids meal version.
Right.
4 for $4. I want to see how much lights go.
Just buy some grow lights, bro.
I was thinking about it, or just like fucking plumbing.
You just need LEDs? White light? What are you looking for? I'll get them for you.
Probably that has a good balance for photography. $6 for. What do you get?
I'm playing the no limit shit, and my whole team is Ash.
No limit soldiers.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Ryan from eMart. And today,
Hey, Ryan
right,
from
so
eMart.
we take our stand, nice and next we'll take our and try to line up place. Just plug it in and turn it on. Voila. So let's try this out with the other umbrella. Now we use the white umbrellas for more of a diffused look, and I'll show you that right now. So let's swap these out. And then there's a hole right here that it slides into quite easily. And what we want is the edge of the umbrella to come to the edge of the lamp socket here. And then all we have to do, tighten it up, and boom. Now you've got some professional lighting. So just like with our taller stand, the smaller one works just the same way. We set it up, loosen it up just a little bit, make sure that the legs have a little room here, press down to the desired length, and we're good to go. tighten up the knob, set it down, and then we remove
You gonna want to buy some clones, Mike?
So then next we take the light socket and place it down here. And just tighten it up. And it's ready to put the light bulb in. And just like with the larger model,
like
there's a hole for the umbrella right along here. And there's this knob here to loosen things up. Let it slide down and angle it right. That's it for today's episode. Thanks for watching. I'm Ryan from eMart.
Or you could just like buy them just to support your buddy, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So I don't care what you do with them. You guys quit that. The Mercies are they got the blue line on each other and they're running in circles. It's real weird. I don't like it.
I watch all season. No reason they should outspeed me, right?
Everyone's Lucio right now.
Your boy out here taking names. Tick names. Tick names.
Real YouTube is change location. I like to keep you all on your toes. So my mouse is having problems. I've changed the battery and I don't really know what's going on, but hello, it's me, guy who changes location sometimes. I've changed location. Anyway, I'm back. Truth. Because basically, like, imagine like I want to go from A to like B, and I'm trying to draw a line. Like it will just randomly cut out, and it makes it really jumpy. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, so Mr. Pikachu, they said, okay, here's the deal. Here's the deal, Wolf, and everybody else. We're gonna ban some Pokemon. We're actually gonna do what every casual has been begging for, although I don't think they'll like the results personally, but that's another topic. But yeah, we're gonna ban the popular Pokemon. Because now that we banned the popular Pokemon, there won't be more popular Pokemon, and we might not end up with even a more centralized metagame. That's crazy, because we banned the strong ones, so, now everyone will be forced to use different Pokemon. But, that's kind of a tangential thing to what I actually want to talk about, which is, I heard it was really strong and just powerful, all removed for the next season of Pokemon. So kind of what I wanted to talk about was, how does removing these Pokemon affect the rest of the game, right? So one of the strongest Pokemon, Venusaur was really, really strong throughout the format since induction. We have already seen this format that Sleep is really, really powerful. As two things that are extremely are extremely important in this format are speed, like who's moving first. That's got to be one of the biggest things of this format, and then also sleep. Those are kind of not the only two takeaways, but two of the bigger ones in my opinion from the format so far.
Agreed.
The reason why they're important, I think, is because Dynamax and Gigantamax are such a big part of the
Agreeing with
format.
Wolfie.
The ability to
Watching video.
number one, attack before
Agreeing.
your opponent. I'm gonna center this a little. I'm sitting differently than I anticipated. It's a little better, right? But yeah, basically the ability to attack before your opponent means you have a chance to, boost your stats before they boost theirs, especially with defensive stats, or potentially overwrite terrain before they put you to sleep, or something like that. Basically, moving first in general is good, and I feel like that's kind of exacerbated in this format. Trick Room has been a huge, huge theme of this year. Tailwind saw really like a lot of play early on, and Venusaur is a Pokemon that it has kind of built-in speed control thanks to its ability Chlorophyll, which doubles its speed in the sun. So it has a lot of different things going for it. It can be very offensive and aggressive. Life Orb, Frenzy Plant, or G-Max Vine Lash is very strong. G-Max Vine Lash in general is a phenomenal move. We've already seen Charizard win regionals, Colossal won an online tournament. The G-Max forms of them, of course, which allow them to get this really strong passive damage on every type except for one. That's a really, the damage that does is significant. Like, it's 1/6 on both Pokemon for 4 turns. It's a ton of damage. It's a total of, at most, 133% on a total team at a 400% HP. So,
I watched his videos, so I just realized I'm playing my Venusaur right.
In terms of what Venusaur's kind of doing,
Gotta play the Venusaur right.
First of all, in addition to being offensive, you can also use it as a support Pokemon. Bulky Venusaur seems some.
I didn't realize Chloroform gave him speed priority.
Venusaur is also like pretty good, and Sleep Powder is a big thing. People actually run wide lens on Venusaur because it ran Sleep Powder, and the ability to put like a Pokemon to sleep is very, very dangerous if you don't have Lumberry or Chestoberry or safety goggles or terrain. And especially with the two main terrain setters being Grass and Psychic, those are the two that don't protect you from sleep. So, yeah, Venusaur was really, really doing a good job of just it was like the fastest Pokemon in the format in Sun. The fastest Pokemon you were likely to play against in the format in Sun, apart from like Dragapult after Max Airstream. But in general, it was providing offensive pressure and sleep powder pressure. In terms of the Pokemon it was keeping down, I wouldn't say like with Venusaur, I wouldn't really talk about anything specifically. Like obviously, water types suffered a lot. Because it was so good, any Pokemon that was weak to Sun inherently was gonna like have a bad time because Venusaur is such a strong addition to Sun and made Sun teams a lot more viable and powerful. But it didn't feel like there was that much. Like in theory, it should be able to like sleep powder Dragapult, and it was good against Tyranitar, of course.
What up?
But in general, it was kind of a nice Pokemon.
I think.
Dude, I just got back from getting food. Sweet. It means I got time to take a shower.
He was all playing.
Dude, I know my school just started. My schedule's been fucked.
Episode of Futurama where Fry gets his dog and the dog waits.
Man, it wasn't that sad.
Dead.
That could hit across the board. It also would also run like a common moveset would be something like this if you wanted. With a life orb. So this is like kind of like a common moveset that people used to run before the ban. Protect could be on here. Assault Vest and Weather Ball could be on here as well. Like you have options for sure. But yeah, like basically this is like one offensive.
play some
People ran
Overwatch?
sacks, like I mentioned. People ran right now. Kind of felt like life orb was.
Yeah,
Strong.
maybe.
But yeah, it was just a strong, like a super strong
Some
Pokemon that if you weren't
PG
careful
tier.
could definitely like you could definitely lose it. Yeah.
PG.
Next up we have Gyarados. I think this is a singles ban, so I don't want to talk too much about it. Gyarados,
Dude, so
like, it was
fucking
okay. Like it
The
wasn't bad
box
at all.
fell
It
off
wasn't
of the
bounce,
truck today at work.
waterfall. If you were running Assault Vest, you could do
Fucking
something like this.
all four of
if you weren't running
the
Assault
bottles
Vest, you could
inside
Dragon Dance. Of
like
course, you can
broken
always run
half
support
with
moves
big
like
old
Taunt and
gallons.
Thunderweave.
And it's like basically just shit in a bottle.
Uh,
It went all over the big like fucking like power lifter dude that we got working there. he is so mad. He's like, I'm going home. Like, I was like, yeah, you get your stinky ass out of here.
Get back here, shit boy.
Right? I was like, you better clean that shit up first. So I ain't cleaning that shit up for you. You already smell like shit. What difference is it gonna make?
Never knew her.
Or Protect as well. Like, but this is kind of like a standard set with Moxie. You can also use this to support Pokemon with Intimidate. I don't feel like I have that much to say about Gyarados. Like, if we look at Pikalytics, some things that like it did okay versus, but like Rillaboom, Cinderace, it was okay against. Like, at least Cinderace can't do much other than Max Airstream. It was okay versus Amoonguss, but they all went Cobra Berry, so it wasn't actually that good. Like, yeah, Wenyasaur, Urshifu, Excadrill, like, it was like a solid Pokemon against physical attackers because of Intimidate and flying. People didn't always even run Intimidate, so it's kind of just like things that it's weak against. It does well against. I think this is certainly a singles ban. There's no way otherwise. Now we lose Porygon 2 here, which is very interesting. Porygon 2 would run Eviolite and normally download. It's typically considered to be the better ability. With the moveset of Trick Room, Recover, Ice Beam, and Tri Attack. This is kind of like the standard spread of what you or standard set of what you see. This is a bulky Trick Room setter. Basically, Porygon 2 was run as a Dusclops replacement. On most teams, it was like the bulky Trick Room setter. It has advantages and disadvantages compared to Dusclops. One advantage is that its recovery is more consistent and it doesn't require you to hit an opponent. Dusclops runs Pain Split pretty often as its recovery move of choice if it's running a recovery move. However, that's inconsistent and can be abused by your opponent and isn't always like, yeah, like you can't like always get as high as you'd like in terms of your health because yeah, like it's dependent on your opponent's current HP stats. So although it's definitely a good move. It's less consistent. Porygon 2 also can do like more than 50 damage a turn. Dusclops is locked into 50 damage with Nightshade. Is normally the only offensive move that can do damage. Porygon 2 actually intends to attack with Tri-Attack Ice Beam. Sometimes people run Thunderbolt. I've seen Shadow Ball in the past, back in 2017. So basically, you are intending to do damage with it. And the real advantage of Porygon 2 is that I think the bulk is better, as I recall. Although I'm actually not positive, but the typing is the real thing. Defensively, normal is a great typing. It's only weak to fighting. And with the addition of some of the Pokemon in the metagame, like fighting has really fallen off. When you consider Togekiss, when you consider Dragon Ball Runner Max Air, when you consider when you consider like Indeedee, all these Pokemon really make fighting types bad. Right now, Conkeldurr was really good for a lot of the format, but I haven't seen any Conkeldurr since the Isle of Armor Pokemon were added. So, yeah, basically like fighting isn't a very common type outside of like Cinderace using High Jump Kick, and so yeah, Trick Room like was pretty consistent to get up. Now, I also think Dusclops has some like pretty clear advantages over Porygon 2. Like I don't think it's like a guaranteed better in any way. I think that like you could definitely justify using Dusclops instead, but now we don't have the option of Porygon 2 anymore. So what does this do for the metagame? Although Porygon 2 didn't really check that many things offensively, as a support Pokemon, it was really, really good and really hard to stop Trick Room. Basically, this means that Dusclops is going to be the Trick Room setter you see the majority of the time. Losing Porygon 2 for it is a big deal. You'll still see some Hatterene, you might see some other more like offensive, comparatively, Pokemon, like even Jellicent's a little bit more offensive than Porygon 2 in my opinion. Pokemon like, yeah, Reuniclus, Pokemon like Hatterene may pop up more, but really what this means for the metagame is that Dusclops is back on top. What's next? Tyranitar. So Tyranitar is an interesting Pokemon for sure. Tyranitar, normally running Weakness Policy, normally running Protect, Lash Out, Superpower, and Rock Slide. This is like the standard moveset. I don't know if this is helpful for you guys to see the standard moveset, but I feel like it is, like, not bad. So, yeah, so basically Tyranitar was a really good kind of variance Pokemon. Variance control Pokemon, I should say. Thanks to its Dark typing, it's immune to Prankster moves, so it's not that common right now, but of course it never hurts to be immune to Prankster. The real thing though was that its stats and ability allowed it to be a pretty good check to a lot of the things that are really scary right now. So for example, Sun. We talked a lot about Sun already so far, and Tyranitar was one of the, if not the best Sun counters. Thanks to Sand giving you a special defensive boost and the majority of Sun Pokemon being special attackers, you could switch it in to Torkoal super freely unless they were running Body Press. Yeah, and because of its good like special defense and HP stats, and the fact that normal people run max HP, although sometimes people run Sash or Choice Band or something, but typically you run Tyranitar and Trick Room and it was more bulky. But because of its stats basically, and because Sandstorm gives Rock types a special defense boost of 1.5 times, it was so especially bulky that you could easily switch it in and out. It was also one of the best Pokemon against Porygon Z. Porygon Z and Urshifu are kind of two of the big things we're going to talk about today, I think. They should be extremely, extremely buffed, thanks to the removal of these Pokemon in general. And Tyranitar was one of the, if not, maybe not the best Porygon Z check, but I personally liked it a lot. Being, like, basically if Porygon Z is hitting something for neutral damage, it should be one-shotting it most of the time. That's how strong it is. Even some resisted Pokemon could probably get one shot, if I had to guess, if they, like, assuming adaptability like or Hyper Beam, especially when you throw in Helping Hand. So Tyranitar was a really good anti-Porygon Z Pokemon. It was a personal favorite of mine. In the Players' Cup, I used it because I thought, like, in part because I liked that it helped versus Porygon Z. And so, yeah, basically any super strong special attacker that doesn't hit Tyranitar for super effective damage, Tyranitar was an excellent check too. It was also a decent Trick Room attacker. Like, I say decent because with Rillaboom's, like, throughout the whole format, we've had Pokemon that had priority moves that could one-shot Tyranitar, whether it be Rillaboom or Conkeldurr. And its speed stat is kind of awkward in that, like, it's not... It's like, it's slow enough that it works well in Trick Room, but the kind of the more dedicated Trick Room attackers typically kind of dunk on it. So, yeah, Tyranitar's removal should have massive waves, should send massive waves throughout the rest of the metagame, I think. Who's next? Torkoal. We've talked a bit about Torkoal. A very offensive Normal people run Charcoal, and Drought with Protect, Eruption, Heat Wave, and Heat Wave and Q. This is a typical thing. The EV spreads, I'm not getting it for most of these, but it was this, pretty much. Torkoal's one of the slowest Pokemon in the game, and in Trick Room and Underspit pretty much everything, except for maybe, I think it's Speed Ties Scavalier or something. Yeah, so basically, yeah, Torkoal's removal is pretty interesting here. It was a whole archetype on its own. It like enabled a lot of stuff. So Torkoal enabled Charizard because it set up Sun. Charizard giving it both a Fire type boost and Solar Power boost. Pretty big. It also activated Chlorophyll for Venusaur, and it was also a nice anti-weather, right? If you're worried about Sun, one thing you could do is add another weather. Now, I definitely think Tyranitar checks Torkoal, but having a Torkoal on your team is definitely a nuisance for Tyranitar and forces it to play in a certain way. Especially also if you didn't have Tyranitar on your team, nothing really likes to take eruptions from Torkoal. If it's at full HP in Trick Room, you can fire off these powerful eruptions. We saw Torkoal do well throughout the format and won. Jeez, it's one of a bunch of stuff. Won regionals when I believe Toby used it. I know Ludwig won the Smash Invitational with it. It's had a lot of good performances throughout the season. One of the most popular teams was, I believe, Torkoal, Tyranitar, or Venusaur, some kind of redirection, Togekiss or Butterfree. So that's Tyranitar, and then Charizard or something else in the last slot. It's been on a lot of teams. It's probably been Torkoal's best VGC season, even over 2017, where it was pretty good. You could also run defensive on it, like Marcus won a tournament with Body Press defensive Torkoal, the Beast Coast Invitational. So yeah, Torkoal, it was a Pokemon you definitely had to respect. It was one of the scariest things in Trick Room, and every team had to have a Torkoal answer, whether that was Priority Rain Dance, not super common, or a Pokemon like Tyranitar, or like so many answers to Trick Room that you could ensure that it wasn't going to be firing off eruptions. A well-played Torkoal could definitely win you games. So, yeah, I think that Torkoal's removal frees up people a bit in team building, and it also really enables, with both Torkoal and Tyranitar removed, and Venusaur as well, Rain is looking incredibly strong. I might do another video on like the Pokemon that are buffed a lot now that these Pokemon are removed, so if you want to see that, let me know. But yeah, Pokemon like Politoed and Kingdra are extremely buffed because of the removal of their primary weather counters. Let's see. Hippowdon, I don't really want to talk about Hippowdon, truthfully. It wasn't a VGC drop, like, it didn't see any play in VGC. I don't think we need to talk about it personally. Magnezone's another one where, like, it's a cool Pokemon. It definitely had some usage. It definitely was not a bad Pokemon. You can see the stats are not bad. The 4 times weakness to ground is bad. The weakness to fire is bad. The weakness to fighting is okay. The steel typing is pretty nice. We definitely like steel typing. I also really like electric typing right now. Yeah. But this was a singles drop. It didn't see a ton of play in doubles. It's very slow, so you need to build around it. It isn't bad at all. I brought Magnezone to tournament before. It's won 2 tournaments in 2017, being Oceania Internationals by Zoe, and then the Onog Invitational by Vieira. Yeah, won both of those tournaments, as I recall, unless I'm crazy. Did one of them not have Magnezone? No, I'm pretty sure they both had Magnezone. Because there was a change between Zoe's team and Vieira's team, but I don't remember what it was. Anyway, I don't think it was Magnezone. Anyway, yeah, Magnezone, I don't really have much to say about it. It's, yeah, like, it was a singles drop. Togekiss. This thing is probably the best Pokemon in format, in my opinion. You could argue for Togekiss, you could argue for Dusclops, and now you could argue for maybe Venusaur, maybe Rillaboom, maybe Torkoal, maybe Tyranitar, but personally, I think Togekiss is up there. It's a very versatile Pokemon. You can run a support set, you can run an offensive set, and it's one of the few Pokemon that you can run both. I personally liked running a set that could Dynamax, but didn't have to. Almost always going to be carrying Follow Me, almost always going to be carrying Dazzling, Air Slash, Protect, Heat Wave, Yawn, Helping Hand, the Ally Switch is something that was used. It's got a lot of great support moves. Follow Me is an amazing attack. It's such a good support tactic in games, and it will win you games on its own. And it's very difficult to stop, especially in a format where we have so many Pokemon that can set up thanks to Dynamax, right? And so it was paired with Dragapult very often, paired with Excadrill very often. Pokemon that can be attacked via Dragon Dance or Sword Dance, or maybe just to throw offensive pressure, or protect from Dragon Bolt. It could also be used to offset Trick Room, and it also could be used offensively on its own. Super Luck plus Scope Runs is a pretty common set, where basically what you would do is you just Dynamax your Togekiss with these combination of this combination of items plus ability.
You ain't gonna have much more time.
Yeah, like you got
try
a
to do
50%
anything
crit rate. So
cool.
if you attacked half the time, it would crit on average.
Yeah, COVID took it.
Which is really strong. Meaning you could like, and crits, don't forget,
We
ignore
can
light
go
screen,
camping,
ignore
bro.
style. It's a really strong ability. So I also want to quickly touch on the fact that with Venusaur and Tyranitar and Torkoal all removed, I think Lash is
Camp
still
in
a lot stronger
USA.
as well. That's something that just came to my mind. But yeah, basically,
It's kind of like cruising USA, but a lot
Togekiss is
slower.
something that is it's been dominating the format. It's not something that's gonna like be a sweeper most of the time. unless you
So the
Dynamax
game
it,
plays a lot more
can't be a sweeper.
realistic.
People also are in weakness policy with it, which is scary. Yeah, like it's not gonna be like winning games on its
Get
own,
the
but it's
fuck outta
definitely
here.
gonna be enabling people to win games.
All the
It was the best
divas.
support Pokemon in my opinion so far. Maybe Dusclops you have a case for as well, but like yeah, easily one of the best support Pokemon, and its removal has big waves. There's a lot of Pokemon that Togekiss just kind of straight up invalidates. For example, Urshifu. Urshifu is a Pokemon that really can't do anything with Togekiss around because although it can crit, like Togekiss one-shots the Dark Form, it probably one-shots the Water Form as well. But the more important thing is that you can redirect the attack. So it doesn't matter if you have Tyranitar next to Togekiss, you're not going to be able to hit it with a fighting move as long as Togekiss is around. And it doesn't matter if you can hit through Protect if, you know, your best option is Iron Head, which isn't especially strong. So, yeah, there was a lot of Pokemon that Togekiss kind of just, like, both enabled and prevented, in my opinion. Like, Pokemon like Dragapult would be a lot less threatening if there wasn't a thing as redirection. But pairing Togekiss with a Pokemon like Dragapult, which isn't a great example because it's being removed, but, yeah, it enabled it a lot. So I think that what Togekiss' removal does is it makes the strong offensive Pokemon a bit weaker, in my opinion, especially these frailer ones. One thing that we've seen a lot of in 2020 is the trend of Pokemon that traditionally would be thought of as pretty frail, and like, although they could be good sweepers, we normally classify them as hyper offense, meaning kind of all or nothing. These Pokemon have seen a lot of play because thanks to Dynamax, they don't have to worry about their low defensive stats because you can make it very bulky thanks to the mechanic. And so when you pair that with Togekiss, these Pokemon that would in a traditional format without Dynamax be pretty frail actually become extremely difficult to remove, and because they already have such high offensive prowess, it basically puts it like it basically changes. It's really enable. Anyway, yeah, I think that's one thing it does. I mean, the other thing is that certain Pokemon who couldn't stand up to Togekiss, whether like they were weak to Fairy or Flying, mostly Fairy, or they couldn't get past the redirection. For example, Togekiss was keeping Rillaboom in check a bit because you couldn't really do anything to Togekiss while Rillaboom was, you couldn't really do anything with Rillaboom as long as Togekiss was around. So, yeah, that's a pretty big. I think Togekiss is going to have one of the hugest echoes in the format. Excadrill's removed. So Excadrill is a Pokemon that was doing really well all format. I feel like it fell off a little bit towards the end here with the additional Isle of Armor, but it might just be like new toy syndrome, which is, you know, they have new Pokemon, so people want to use new Pokemon, and sometimes old Pokemon get a little forgotten. Very scary Pokemon. Traditionally, we was running Mold Breaker, but as Rotom Wash kind of disappeared, Sandrush is more common. Typically, we run Focus Sash or Weakness Policy or something else. Protect Swords Dance, High Horsepower, Iron Head. This is the typical set. Or Earthquake, but it was Earthquake before Rillaboom and High Horsepower. Now with Rillaboom around. Just standard EVs, normally Jolly. I personally like Shuka Excadrill. This thing was really strong on format. It was another Pokemon that Togekiss really enabled. One of the strengths of it is that it can raise its stats with it can raise its stats with its stat max moves. It can raise its bulk with its stat max moves, especially. Meaning it can be like very difficult to remove. Some players run weakness policy with Swords Dance, so that basically like you would Dynamax early, you would actually get like boost your defenses first with High Horsepower and Iron Head. If they hit you with a move like it was super effective, you would get higher offenses, and then when Dynamax ended, you would have 3 defense boosts ideally, and then you could Swords Dance and then actually become pretty threatening. And again, because you'd both boosted your defense so much, you could probably take a hit or two. So that was definitely something. I don't know if this is a singles or doubles nerf, but I'm pretty sure I would be shocked if Excadrill was top 10. It's actually pretty close. It's below Primarina on Peoplelytics. So I would be shocked if it was top 10 personally. I think this is probably a singles nerf. I think Excadrill was struggling a lot with the addition of Pokemon like Cinderace and Rillaboom. I say addition, what I mean is the addition of their hidden abilities because they weren't Pokemon before that. Rillaboom actually kind of was, but yeah, Cinderace was not, and it changes the dynamic a lot. Yeah, in terms of what Excadrill was like preventing, the real thing is that we lose one of the best Steel types in the format. Steel is a type that like is kind of awkward in the format, in my opinion. Like, it's just such a phenomenal type, and the max move boost is also really good. But the thing is that like there aren't that many Steel types that I personally, and I'm just speaking personally now, but personally I don't like that many Steel types. On both my regionals teams, I didn't actually use a steel type because I didn't. Oh no, Duraludon. Well, Duraludon is a steel type, but it's also not a steel type. It doesn't play like a steel type. But yeah, the other steel types are like Ferrothorn. Cabalion's actually pretty good, but kind of requires beat up in my opinion. What else? Ferrothorn, Cabalion, Durant might see a resurgence now with Excadrill dropping. What else? I already said Ferrothorn. Aegislash isn't really a real Pokemon right now. It had some usage when it was a single Sash set. Duraludon isn't really a steel type unless you run over an Assault Vest on it. So yeah, basically Excadrill, anything like you basically remove the best steel type in the format. Well, actually, you remove the best steel type in the format, but it's Cinderace. That's not a joke. I actually think Cinderace is the best steel type in the format right now. And so by removing the 2 best steel types at least, anything that's weak to steel, like any fairy type Pokemon, any rock type Pokemon, anything that's weak to steel is going to get a big buff because of that. Whimsicott. So Whimsicott's a big one. Let's talk about Whimsicott. Right this way. So Whimsicott normally run this. Focus Sash, Protect, Tailwind, Taunt, Moonblast. There were other options as well. You could run Trick Eject Button, you could run Fake Tears, you could run Charm, you could run Dazzling Gleam or Energy Ball or Giga Drain. Lots of good options there. Normally not Energy, or no, not Giga Drain, but you could. Tailwind's broken. Tailwind is incredibly broken. That's one of the other reasons that Trick Room has been such a huge thing this format is because if you don't have Trick Room and you don't have like you don't have Tailwind to match it, you should lose. You should have a really hard time with opposing Tailwind teams because you're just going to be moving second all the time, starting with Trick Room. So, I think what this does is a couple things. I think this means that Trick Room is less viable because you don't need it to counter Whimsicott. You also don't need to counter some of these other Pokemon like Venusaur, Dragapult, and Cinderace. So I think Trick Room in general isn't as necessary, which that also means that Pokemon that can set Tailwind, like Drifblim and Talonflame, although with the removal of the Terrain Setters, you don't actually run Drifblim, so that's actually my bad. But like Talonflame, for example, actually becomes a lot more valuable relatively because you expect to play against like Talonflame is such a worse Pokemon than Whimsicott that you expect to play against way less Tailwind, and also because with the removal of Whimsicott, Tailwind as a whole takes a huge nerf. Trick Room feels less necessary. So Whimsicott was primarily just a Tailwind bot, and it could do other things as well, but its main purpose was Tailwind. So yeah, I think that anything that relates to Tailwind or anything like that gets a pretty big buff here because yeah, like Tailwind as a move takes a huge nerf with his best setter removed. Next up we have Incineroar. We finally did it. Banned Incineroar. What does this do? Basically, well, let's talk about Incineroar. Normally run a Berry, or Safety Goggles as well. Fake Out, Parting Shot, Flare Blitz, Darkest Lariat, or Lash Out, or Snarl, or something. Personal preference. I actually ran Double Fire move with Burning Jealousy. But yeah, basically, Incineroar's removal means that Arcanine is back on top as the premier Intimidator. That's actually 2, 3 if you count Cinderace, who I don't personally think is a Fire type, but yeah, they removed a bunch of Fire types. So Grass gets a lot stronger relatively, but they also remove the best Grass types. So there's that. Other Intimidators go up in stock. I also think that Pokemon like Hitmontop and Scrafty get a big buff because number 1, Incineroar was removed, and number 2, Togekiss was removed, and Whimsicott. Togekiss, Whimsicott, and also Mimikyu were some of the best fairies in the format. So by removing all of those, I think these fighting type Pokemon have a real chance to shine. I definitely expect that Scrafty could be good now, or like at least has a chance to be good. Hitmontop as well, always a good Pokemon in my opinion. Scrafty, Hitmontop, what else? Less Intimidate in general. Like I don't know if people will just now all use Arcanine or if they'll use other things, but less Intimidate in general means that physical attackers get a pretty big buff. If Cinderace were still around, obviously that'd be huge for it. It's not around, it gets nerfed though, but yeah. In general, other Fake Out users, other Intimidate users, I actually think Fake Out's not really good or something like that, but other Intimidate users especially, and Pokemon that are weak to Intimidate, like Urshifu isn't really weak to Intimidate, but yeah. Arcanine should shoot out. Gyarados maybe gets better. Oh wait, Gyarados is banned. Oh, that's sad. Yeah, you can see that there's a lot of special attackers. Dragovich is obviously insanely buffed right now. We're gonna talk about that when we talk about the speed tiers, but yeah. Next up we lose Mimikyu, which is a shame in my opinion. I'm not thrilled to lose Mimikyu. Personally, the thing is that like Mimikyu was probably a singles hit. It was a solid Pokemon. I think it didn't really see much play in the current format. It did get second on regionals a couple like formats ago, or like a couple series ago. Normally would run Play Rough, Phantom Force, often ran Shadow Sneak to pair with Dragapult. Did it get Poltergeist? It didn't even get Poltergeist, interesting. I'm really surprised by that actually, it seems on brand. Swords Dance, Trick Room, Taunt, all good moves. it had a bunch of good support moves. It was just a cool support Pokemon that could also be offensive. With Swords Dance, hang on, I gotta sneeze. No, I don't have to sneeze. With Swords Dance, you could become offensive. With Trick Room, you could be supportive. With Taunt, you could be supportive. You could have priority with Shadow Sneak. Lots of good things going for you. I was in a nice speech here.
I thought your TV was joining Discord.
His removal also really hurts. Like, they've removed some of the best fairy types, which means anything weak to fairy, namely Urshifu, is buffed. Also, I was talking about Porygon Z earlier. Ghost types are one of the best answers to Porygon Z, especially if your Ghost type isn't weak to Dark. They often run Dark Pulse, so this is unfortunate. Not
budget.
You what?
Are ya?
that Mimikyu is a great Porygon Z counter, but one of the nice things is you can taunt the partner without too much fear. And if you're really crazy, you can run Ally Switch and just try and block the Hyper Beam that way. But right now you can't do that because we don't even have that. Yeah, so yeah, Mimikyu going is kind of sad because it was a singles nerf. I do kind of wish they'd kept the singles and doubles separate in terms of bans, but what can you do? We have a couple left. Mimikyu, we have 4 left. So Rillaboom had a case to be the most popular Pokemon in the format. I heard Incineroar is back on top right before it got cut. I'll do Rillaboom just so we get this right. But yeah, basically, this thing was broken, honestly. With the Solfist, it was really bulky. With Choice Band, it hit super hard. Fake Out, Grassy Glide, Knock Off, and one more. Superpower, Wood Hammer, U-Turn, etc. Solfist, I think was called instead, but yeah, Superpower here. Yeah, this thing, like, Priority is very powerful in Pokemon. You guys know that, right? Like, Priority is it's so valuable that people will run 40 base power moves with Priority just because, like, it's that helpful. It's great for picking up Focus Sashes. It's great for doubling into things early. It's great for doing a lot of different things. Anything weak to a Priority move is actually, like, you can do some decent damage to it. I've seen Mach Punch KO Tyranitar, for example. That's kind of an extreme example, but you know what I'm saying, right? And a Priority move that's 70 base power, boosted by Stab 1.5 times, boosted by Grassy Surge another 1.3, is insane. It's a very, very, very powerful move, and to have a priority move that in theory can like knock out Pokemon, especially if they're chipped, is very valuable. So it's no surprise that Rillaboom was doing this well, especially with how good its stats are. It's relatively fast. It's got a good attack stat. It's got great rolls across the board, especially when you get the Assault Vest. It's very, very, very good in every way. So it was no surprise that Cincinnati was doing well. One of the big things that Rillaboom's removal does is that it means that water types are Pokemon again.
Tyler,
you couldn't really justify using water types.
Oh, I'm playing Grand Theft Auto.
You just had to be comfortable knowing that everyone would get one shot by a priority move. So, like Pokemon like Primarina, for example, which fell off hard. Primarina was doing very well before, but it fell off
the online.
No, I'm just playing the
Lapras
story.
as well also fell off really hard because it was hit so hard. Although Lapras was still okay because
I've never played it before, so I'm just kind of checking it out. I was bored.
Pretty much like there's not many water types
so I'm
in the top
checking it
here.
out.
My loading falls all the way down to 7.3% usage. Rotom Wash dominating 5.7 usage, lower than Grimmsnarl. Yeah, you can see.
I don't even know how to do all that
really
shit.
low usage.
I'm just
All water types
fucking
get a huge buff from this.
checking out the pretty
So
scenery.
yeah, I think that's pretty big.
I was like, I want to move to California, so
Cinderace
why not
and
just
Dragon
virtually
Ball,
be
I
there?
don't want to talk about it together. I think
Right.
talk about them together because they do more or less.
It's crazy, like seeing places in that game, and then
Yeah,
like seeing
it's
them in
like-
real life.
Yeah, it's like
it's
like
Like-
100%.
a lot of
Like I've seen this before.
Right.
where you couldn't run Choice Scarf Tyranitar. You were outsmarted by both of these, for example. You couldn't run Choice Scarf Dragovich. You were outsmarted by Dragapult. So anything in the range of relatively high base speed offensive Pokemon gets a big buff because now you can actually outspeed the fastest things in the format because it's no longer Dragapult. Pokemon that were fast but like not as fast as Dragapult, which is everything, also get a big buff from this. Pokemon like Jolteon, Pokemon like maybe Barraskewda gets better now. I don't know. Barraskewda had 2 big answers removed. I mean, it's still Barraskewda, but you know, maybe you can justify it now, especially with Politoed. Giving it potential Swift Swim or Propeller Tail is still good. So, yeah. These Pokemon were very fast, they were very offensive, and they hit for a lot of different types that were hard to deal with. So, between Max Phantasm...
I love the Taxi Cat feature in this game.
And they also would run Fly Offer with Life Orb or Weakness Policy, allowing them to be even faster. So even Pokemon like with Chlorophyll or Sandrush couldn't outspeed them. After a Fly Roost. So it made these Pokemon were another reason why I think that Trick Room was really needed on a lot of teams, is because like you couldn't outspeed them otherwise. You kind of needed Trick Room to go up, unless you wanted to use Tailwind and you wanted to like have Pokemon that were fast enough that even at +1 you could still outspeed them, or it was going to be difficult. And also, like, what you have to consider is that these Pokemon don't exist in a vacuum, right? Like, sure, you could run Prankster, Will-O-Wisp, Sableye, and burn Dragapult, right? Or you could run Arcanine with physical defense and survive the hit and burn it after that. But with Togekiss around, you know, they have redirection, and they also had Helping Hand. So a lot of Pokemon couldn't do anything in front of Dragapult plus Helping Hand partner. Dragapult also snowballs because it lowers your defense with Max Phantasm, so the next one hits harder. It's like a pseudo attack boost. Obviously not as good as an attack boost, but Phantasm's a better move. Ghost hits really hard for like across the spectrum, and it doesn't get the power down that Fighting and Poison get because they boost stats. So so that's basically that. Cinderace, I have similar things to say about it. It basically, you traded some speed and maybe some power. I don't really know. You also put my foot on this. They filled really similar roles. You normally run Iron Head, Sucker Punch, Bounce, and then either Hydro Kick or Pyro Ball, depending. But basically, because of the ability to change your type, you could just hit so many things with stab damage, and you were also like pretty hard to nail down. Additionally, Max Steel Spike raising your defense can be bulky, and changing to a Steel type is also a really good defensive type. So Cinderace often can make the most of its max turns, and it was so fast, and with Bounce, it could outspeed things really easily as well. And thanks to Libero, you were getting even more power in your move. So difficult to remove, fast, and also offensive, despite its kind of poor base stats, but the ability just changes things so much. Pokemon that was really mediocre before becomes actually a real threat. The removal of these two I think is huge. I think that there's a lot of Pokemon that these two get taken down, like Urshifu, like Porygon Z, in different ways, defensively and offensively. I think that they become extremely potent, or that a lot of Pokemon become a lot more powerful and have more potential now that these two have been removed. So, the removal of these two and Togekiss and Rillaboom are some of the biggest ones, I think. That they should have enormous impact through the metagame. And lastly, we're going to talk about Indeedee, close forms of Indeedee. This is interesting. Indeedee, basically, like, I mentioned this in the yesterday's video as well, but I'm glad Indeedee's gone. Just because if they're going to remove Rillaboom, it would have been really bad to have only Indeedee. Typically a Psychic Surge Expanding Force user. This really nerfs Hatterene. Anything that wants to have Follow Me plus Psychic Surge support in the same Pokemon bundled together. Hatterene can still use Amoonguss.
Were you playing golf?
Once, but the ability
I'm playing Overwatch right
was
now.
really good with the addition of Expanding Force. I'm going to focus mainly on Indeedee female here because that was the main one.
Yes. Let's save.
Expanding Force, Follow Me, Protect, Helping Hand. Sometimes people run Mystical Fire, sometimes people run Safeguard.
But I'm going to save. I'll jump out for a couple games.
With a focus that you guarantee you live at least one attack, and like Expanding Force actually allowed Indeedee to have even a bulky supportive Indeedee to have offensive pressure because Expanding Force is such a powerful move. I feel like Indeedee and Rillaboom are pretty closely linked together. Because of Rillaboom, you kind of needed, because of Indeedee, you kind of wanted Rillaboom on your team, or you needed a lot for Psychic spam. Also Pokemon like Alakazam get a lot weaker because of this. And anything weak to Psychic, like Fighting types, again, get a lot stronger because you don't have to worry about Expanding Force anymore. Expanding Force is especially dangerous because in Psychic terrain, you can't even like make a prediction and like try and dodge it with one of your Pokemon, or like switch your Fighting type into the other slot, or whatever's weak to Psychic, or whatever's especially frail and neutral to Psychic. You can't even switch it in because it hits both targets. So, typically Indeedee female is thought to be better, but Indeedee male is seeing some play, especially with Expanding Force. Normally this is a like a protect expanding force and prison trick room, but you could run it offensively as well. People ran hyper voice on it. I've seen life orb. I think maybe specs could be used as well, though it's kind of bad. You could also just run sash and just have it be like an offensive expanding force user. So yeah, I think that like the removal of these two. I think if they removed Rillaboom, it's really good they removed in DD, because otherwise it would be like we don't want to run Percussion or Wheezing. Like now we're basically playing without automatic terrain setting in the format, and if we'd had only one of them, it would have been pretty bad. So I'm glad DD was removed personally. But yeah, that's all the Pokemon that I wanted to talk about today. So that's kind of how things shake out. I think if you want to see kind of a look at maybe Pokemon that get buffed, I can go through kind of the lower usage stats of Pokemon that dodge the ban, and Pokemon that get stronger because of the ban. I totally can do that. So just let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. Let me know if you like this kind of content, and I'll see you next time. New location, goodbye. Real YouTubers start the song higher than they intended, but it turned out okay. Not the intro I meant to do, but the intro I did. Hello, it's your guy who is very sunburned, and hopefully the camera doesn't show it because I'm definitely peeling. Anyway, how's everyone doing today on this fine winter evening? I'm actually recording this in December of 2007, so I don't know when I'm going to post it, but anyway. So there I was, thinking about the fact that the format's going to change very soon. Very, very soon, actually. In less than a week, the format's going to change and become VGC 2020 Series 6. Now, this is relevant because there's some big changes going into play over the next week. Namely, over 10 Pokemon are being banned from the format. The top 10 most popular VGC Pokemon and the top 10 most popular Pokemon in singles are being banned from the format. Now,
I guess Amazon put out a new MMO called New World, and it's like it's in beta, and I guess a bunch of people are playing on stream right now. I don't know about a bunch, but
Say some people.
dogging it. Oof. Maker's getting fried. That's no, she's getting fall off damage. She's getting a nerf. That's a huge nerf. You guys been on this entire time?
There's no face.
Have you been gaming? I just say I didn't see anybody in here for a while.
Yep, switch. If you're talking or
Do you want to play?
Big quick play or whatever, it don't matter.
Deli
Classic.
Narizm.
Hey Google,
Said
wake
hi.
me up at 6:20 tomorrow.
hey, how you doing, Blaney?
What's it like in New York City?
I'm going to get a popsicle. I'll be right back.
Popsicle. How you doing tonight,
Deli
Delaney?
Narizan said I'm good, drunk, but good. How are thee?
Alright, just playing a little bit of Pokemon, probably about to switch over to Overwatch. Listen to this guy strum away.
Hey, our game's starting. So.
Deli Narizan said I'm down to watch Overwatch hee hee.
I'm just gonna do this match real
I'm just gonna do this match real quick.
quick now.
And then what? And then what?
It's actually the reason I brought it up. It's fucking insane.
What is?
Oh, the Widowmaker. Yeah.
Your Widowmaker.
I'm not.
Is the event over?
No, you can still buy stuff. I bought everything last night, so.
Oh shit.
I mean,
Oh.
Dude. On my way. You.
Other one. Ah!
I was trying to get one too. Yeah.
Oh. The year. Broskies.
What?
My mom picked up all my wax out of the fridge and fucking dropped it. Why? Like, don't do that.
Please just heal me, please.
I'm tossing one in for you.
I'm talking about the Baptiste.
Now arriving at Ilios. There was a flaw in my approach.
Current status, securing objective. Performance
Best round. This will
Hell
heal
yeah.
you. Score 1-0.
Let's get to it already.
Backs.
I don't think I've ever made a basket.
What?
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 I
What?
don't think I've ever made a basket.
4, 3.
Not me either. I think you could do it with Symmetra, or you used to be able to, or something. I don't know.
The objective.
I never cared.
Ball. No, I don't care either. I just thought it was funny.
No,
Like, all
me
the
either.
hours. I've tried to like hit it like just like randomly and never have gotten it.
I played this game since beta.
Allow me.
Got the milkshake.
My will made real. The objective is in charge.
What's up, buddy? Hey. What's up? You guys should win this one.
Start over at the beginning.
No pressure, guys. Just me and 250,000 Twitch viewers watching you right now.
with it.
See through the dragon's eyes.
Thank you.
The objective is mine.
Overtime.
There you go. You just murdered a little PP420.
See that which is unseen.
Little PP420. Probably best gamer tag I've ever heard.
See through the dragon's eyes.
It says, I got humility, but I'm also a stoner.
So I thought it just meant he had a little pee-pee. And he was so,
But he doesn't want to admit that.
I mean,
Or he's got like a
maybe it's
mediocre
just
penis. So
maybe
if
it's
he's,
just off the act.
I bet you he's got like a like he's probably got like an average dick. So he says that, sets the standard low. That way when he sleeps with somebody, he's like, oh, man, yeah.
He said check out my gamer tag, you know?
Dude, you know how many people have seen my gamer tag and been like, yeah, I wanna fuck.
What happened to dude's tire?
Start over
Oh,
at
fuck.
the beginning. See through the dragon's eyes. My ultimate is charging.
Strawberry milkshake is slamming.
Fucking Reinhardt just went to jump in the hole. We killed him before he could.
Is our best. MLGers.
Now arriving at Ilios.
Hey, I know this guy. That's my friend. Nope. Strawberry?
Oh, Mike's in here already.
Unfortunately.
I'll get you later. I'll be right back.
Dan Riker's building Legos on Twitch right now.
Dude, I got mangled by fucking bees today, bro.
Mango, you did? You gotta be careful. You can pass out from like, you can go into shock because of that.
Yeah, I was like checking myself out. I had like some of my pants, dude. Oh my god, it was terrible.
Yeah, you should be careful. I'm for real. I know somebody that got like stung up by a bunch of bees, never had a bad reaction, and
He said his dick fell off. Yo.
Buddy had to throw it in a bag with some ice. Keep it cool the whole way to the hospital.
He said, you thought I was gonna say he died, but no, his dick just fell off. No, it was like a ground. It was like a ground nest too. Like I didn't notice it, so like I started blowing. Like I was like, cause I was doing some hedging, and like I was blowing the shit out. Like all of a sudden, like I just started like feeling like a bunch of like pricks like all over, and I'm like, what the fuck was that? And I'm like, ah! I just started like running. Like I don't know, bro. It's
That's when you use Dougie as a shield.
he wasn't around me, cause I suggested to have him go do it. Yeah, that place was like infested with bees. Bees have been bad this year. Like not bad, like 'cause like we need bees. Like it's not like a good thing. Like it's a good thing, but
But to be fair, you probably got stung by like mud wasp or something like that. Paper wasp. Let's do some arcade shit because I need box wins. He was up. What the fuck you waiting for?
Yeah, fucking someone came in my work today that was working down the street a little bit, and they're like, "You got cameras?" Because someone stole fucking, they like backpack blower and their weed whips and shit.
Dude, I always worry about that, dude. Like for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you know how bad I want one of them backpack blowers?
They're not cheap. And like I always like
Or
when I set them.
I would have one if they were cheap.
At the end of the day, like you can't like what the fuck do you need a backpack blower for?
Need? You don't need. What could save me a shit ton of time coming up this fall?
But you don't do any of the yard work.
You don't know my life.
I mean, I got like a good idea. You're right, I don't know it verbatim.
Yeah, what I eat for lunch today?
Wendy's.
God damn it! No, I'm just I had KFC.
Oh, the other thing that you eat.
Do they got these fries now instead of the potato wedges? At
Dude,
first,
did you not? Were you not? Did you guys hear me say this the other day when I said they had fries, like chicken fries or something?
no,
Were
I
you not
think
in here?
I think they're just normal fries. They got like cheddar on them, or they definitely got a
Right,
little
but
hint
they're
of
like-
cheese.
They like call them like chicken fries though, or something like that. Like,
I don't know what they call them. Maybe they're.
Fry 'em in blood or
are they good though?
I don't know.
'Cause
They're.
I noticed they're like regular. They don't
Dude-
have wedges though anymore.
Dude, at first I'm like, man, I miss my wedges. I was like all pissed off, pretending like I was gonna hate it, and then I'm like, you know what? These are alright. I think they're pretty alright.
Yeah, Mike.
I'm gonna die?
Yeah. Oh no, you're not the DPS. Never mind.
My keys are all sticky, I think, from my ice cream. Is that good? Is that how you become a professional?
Gotta put the time in, the grind in.
I haven't played Hog in so long, but from my understanding, he's in quite the good spot.
Yeah, I've been playing them. Just when like I don't.
Just been digging Zarya.
He is pretty dope.
I was digging Zarya more when I hit a shield tank to bubble, but shield tanks just knew how to put themselves in front of damage, you know?
Yeah, but they're in bad spots right now, so it's.
I know. It fucks up some, like, Zarya plays. I mean, you can do it with other
Oh
tanks.
no, Hog Zarya right now is like the meta, dude.
Dude, yeah, right. It's Hog,
No, for real.
it's Hog and Mei, my two favorite tanks.
Yeah, Hog and Zarya is really good because like Hog can get in there and take all the damage, and you just gain massive amounts of all charge.
I feel like I'm getting no heals.
I'm dead.
It's
Man,
not-
that's
it's-
the only healer.
I was gonna say, it's not just your job. There was a mercy. But now it's just your job, so.
I should have switched because it's gonna be really hard to keep you guys up with. Guys running a fucking Echo into a Widow.
And McCree. Widow and a McCree.
Give your ult.
Me?
Behind us, behind us. Behind us, Tracer. Go back, turn off, turn off, turn off.
I feel like we're not getting a lot here. McCree's like 1. Gonna need some help out here. Gonna need your help out here. Is this light off? I'm over here being intimate as shit with my lights off. Gotta put the grind in. I don't know if we're winning this. I don't think we're winning right now.
We can. We just gotta do our shit together. I mean, our Reaper and our 2D, they're fucking shitheads. I guess our Doomfist.
I didn't know we had a Doomfist. I contribute. I contribute.
There's a contribute.
Heal up, back up. Heal up, back up. This is my defensive song. It ain't very long, but guaranteed to help me keep the defense on. Fuck you, bro. I'll you right back. You beat your ass. Grinding. Time in. Not today, hog boy. Hook boy. You like to hook with your hook boys? Hook boy.
Oh my god.
An expedient solution.
Oh, Hobbit's fucking dynamiting the shit out of that hog. I'm thankful for.
We're all born with some remains.
Fuck, that wheel got me.
It like took me a second to register like what's it mean when they're all red like that. I'm like, oh yeah, that's dynamite. I don't ever play Ash. I don't always play. I mean, I never play. Get off my gold. Get off my gold.
This was my will. Hello there.
I am ready to unleash.
I was. Junkrat's trying to go behind us. Just know the Riptire's coming from behind us, up by Hobbit. That's some kind of back
Are you kidding me?
back of the map fucking only fucking Junkrat players would know kind of fucking
Heal, draw back, heal, draw back.
heal up. Heal up, back up, or whatever I was saying. Oh, she's fucking charged, bro.
He's weak as fuck, coming in.
There it is. We've been waiting for it.
We got another one? She
That-
just used that.
That Zarya's not bad, guys.
We're just charging her.
I haven't been.
Giving her the juice.
I have been trying to. I might have done a little bit.
I'm sure I've done like 0.003%, but that's just because my alt fire has a little spread sometimes.
Catching them on fire.
Got you, Siggy boy. Sticking my balls in your mouth.
Where's our Doom? What are you doing, my dude?
60 seconds.
My dude, brah.
Oh my god, this guy sucks!
Get in there, Bob.
My will. 30 seconds.
Drop it in, Reaper. Fight him.
Yes.
Overtime.
Sorry, behind.
I think win. Here it comes.
Good job, guys.
Victory.
Hobbit, you're looking attractive over there.
Play of the game.
Got legs. And she knows how to use them.
Double kill. Triple kill.
I'm really just trying to get big on Twitch so I can launch my music career.
Right.
Download a free sample of my new album, Mike, on the website www.mike.butt.com. Butt.
Almost about to be out of my gold border, boys.
What are yams? When a guy says a girl has nice yams, talking about breasts, tits, boobs,
I would assume.
or legs, thighs, ass. Or yam.
I thought yams were like potatoes.
Yams are like potatoes, but when refer to a woman's body.
I always thought they were talking about potatoes.
Hobbit's like my mouth waters every time.
Did you not realize that
Now,
females, that's where
entering
yams
the
come from?
temple. Prepare your defenses.
Oh, they lay the potatoes?
Select your hero.
Like an ostrich.
They're yams. I mean, but they're not potatoes, but
Said I'm pretty much a gynecologist. GYN.
Yamatologist.
A yam spurt.
I got my yam spurt. Yam spurt.
So the group that the ASAP gang that ASAP Rocky and ASAP Ferg is part of, started by a guy named ASAP Yams.
Attackers incoming in
He-
30 seconds.
He had a heart attack. I'm pretty sure it was cocaine. Pretty sure it was too much cocaine, private boats, and attractive Instagram models.
I'm thinking it was probably the yams. You eat too many yams, bro, you fucking die from yam poisoning.
He said they're a form of nightshade,
Don't die on
5,
just like tomatoes.
2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective.
Tomato, who gives a fuck?
you or me.
Get a widow.
A whittle. We got a whittle. Drewster.
Much better.
Whittle's to the right.
Shane.
stop.
You can learn something. Mobility increased.
Oh. Jesus. Got me in the air. Good on you, Reinhardt. I got visor.
No rest for the weary.
Holy shit. Oh my god.
Objective lost. New defense.
I've got you in my sights. I love this
Fucking
little
yam. The yam man.
This old dog's learned a few tricks. Come here and get refreshed.
Seems like a waste of an ultimate that could have been used on multiple people. Where'd that come from?
Our world is worth fighting for.
Still there, Delaney?
Enemy in my sight.
They gone.
A widow's one.
Aggressively ask people questions like that.
Just keep diving around.
Come on.
No one
Pussies.
Hey, 我又回来了。
Right one, right one.
A man's gotta have rules.
Thanks, mate.
Think I need a little hair of the dog.
Ice wall coming up. Healed up.
My ultimate is charging.
Get me.
Don't know why I did that. did that.
感觉好多了。
Fuck.
What up? About to play Overwatch with us? Your brother was here. He was on. I don't know, I told him you were jerking off real quick.
What did he say to that?
He said to me? I said, yeah. Didn't think I was gonna take it in the incest way, did ya? So that's gay and fucked up. Then I'm fine with the gay part. Fucked up part. So you pretty much have no choice but to play Overwatch with us.
We can do this.
A lot of choices here, Mike Beck.
Only one.
Hate to be the bearer. Bad news.
I have to get back in the
I got
fight.
some levels to get.
You got some levels?
Got you in my sights.
Nanoboost administered.
Get on it. I got my ultimate. I got my ultimate. Coming in. I'm coming in.
801, 801.
Oh shit.
Victory.
Crazy victory.
Play of the game.
Dr. Beast, he was on a roll. Good for him. Fucking murder Hobbit. That'd be what in that. Know what I'm saying?
Man, why are these popsicles so damn good?
Otter Pops?
No, just a little freeze pops, bro.
Pops. Pops.
I don't know. These are
Like-
just the flavor. These are just the flavor ice ones, bro. That old school shit.
Yeah, that's like these are, but they're like name brand. They got more flavor. Average flavored. One more dub. Can we get it? Can we do it?
Yeah, I feel like that's the bad part for it, though.
Traveling to Lumbani. Prepare to attack.
I always wondered what would happen if we got into a fight. He said that makes you a bad friend.
Bird person.
What else I was saying? Grubba lubba dub dub.
We're all
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
What are you going to do when the fighting's over, Jack?
I'm a soldier, Anna. Retirement doesn't suit me.
Attack commences in 30 seconds.
I'm not your father. I'm not your father. I'm not your father.
I know
I'm not your
I'm
father.
naughty. Shh. The adults are talking.
You wouldn't believe what I learned about you, Sparrow.
I am at peace with who I was. Your threat does not concern me.
Shut up, Genji and whoever's talking.
I'm not
Fine,
your
bruh.
father.
The adults are talking.
5, 4, 3,
I'm not your father.
1. Attack commencing.
Lucky
Capture
for you,
objective A.
I make my
Let's
own.
move
luck.
out.
Okay. I'm not a fan, I'm not a girl.
I'm taking the objective.
I'm bottom down,
down and I'll keep getting back up. Not dead yet.
Bro, why is ancient astronaut theorist like? Why does it sound so good, but it requires no credentials whatsoever?
Because it's bullshit. Anything with that many words in its titles is pretty much bullshit.
Right. I know.
I said we ain't even met him yet. How is there ancient ones?
Like let's look at
I
like
don't even know about the current ones.
let's look at like real titles for real scientific fields. Like epidemiologists, biologists, paleontologists. There ain't no ologists in there, bro.
And they can literally just say whatever they want. They're like ancient astronaut theorist.
That's better.
The aliens built the pyramids. It's like, okay, well, how do you know that? You know what I mean? Like, there's no like facts behind that. They just believe it.
I've heard like way more good like theories based off
I believe
of.
that the moon is made out of cheese. You know what I mean? Just because I
What?
believe it doesn't
Well,
mean
that one's true. The other ones were silly.
Yeah, never had moon cheese.
One's in the blue moon, blue cheese.
You guys have blue? You guys have moon cheese before?
You get it. You can get it at fucking not Meyer, Polly's.
They sell it at fucking Polly?
Have you been to Polly's, bro?
Imagination is the essence of discovery.
Objective A captured.
I
Escort
was
the
gonna try to
man.
sit behind her. Ready to get her.
Payload on the move.
This will protect us. Sniper, be careful.
Good try.
Let them out. Control link established.
Been to win, baby.
Oh, Mike, by the way, I'm a Pokemon master.
What?
You could be a Pokemon master.
Moira by your side.
Who? What do you say?
My guild, I'm a Pokemon master.
Not though. Name one fucking region that Pokemon exists in. The Pokemon regions. Name one. Alright, Kanto, Johto, Sinnoh, Unova, Kalos, Aloha.
Allentown.
That's in Kanto.
Where's the casino?
That's in Kanto.
Yeah, right. You're just making out words, bro.
They've had game corners in most of the games, but Casino's the first one. They've made it so you can't do like any forms of like gambling because of ratings. They wanted to have a E rating.
Social rating.
Oh, shit.
No, I got it.
Stagger die, feed, stagger die, feed, stagger die, feed, stagger die, feed, stagger die, stagger die.
In transit.
We got too many duelists.
Powering shields.
My will.
I'm probably about to get off this anyways and play Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm gonna lay down after this.
Include Josh, who's the real Pokemaster.
Yeah, okay, bro. Alright, bro. Keep telling yourself that. Keep dreaming, bro. Keep dreaming.
30 seconds.
And then you woke up.
I don't really push it. Fucking toddlers, dude.
Time to read my Baby out.
And then you woke up.
Oh, this guy's name's Khadgar. How did you get the cat? How did you get the name Khadgar? In the fucking game? What the fuck? No, and you just fucking teleported. That guy's name was Khadgar. Way cooler than my name.
Get into position. Огонь по готовности.
Boosters engaged. Matrix activated. No fair. Bailing out.
Let the dragon confer.
Good try.
Defeat.
Good tank.
What?
Got a pretty good tank. Best tanks out there, I think.
And I know tanks.
Tank.
Alright, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Tank.
Later, dude.
Catch you later, dude.
You getting off, Mike? Unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
Oh, look, Keemstar. Oh. I didn't until you just said gross. Why? He said something about fucking what? Is that bad, dude?
Ooh.
I know, but I'm just trying to figure out why you say that, though. Oh. You seem to have all the answers, though. Yeah, it seems like that, doesn't it?
They're not all the right answers. He said, but they're answers.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what. Paraphrasing. So more or less words.
What's that, Mike? That's true, you do. I really can't judge your opinion on most things. Roasting, dude. He probably had a lot of confidence in that Tauros. Later, bro.
Hello, hi, and hello, and also hi to all of you in YouTube viewing land. It's Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and where we're gonna cringe with our good old cringing buddy, Mr. Tom McDonald. Oh my God, there's so many flyaways coming out of his braids on his head. That's. But yes, our friend Mr. Tom McDonald is back. The troll extraordinaire is back with a brand new song and video. People so stupid. In a few short days, this video has well over 1 million views. He's got a very, very, very positive ratio on the like to dislike over here. 150K to just a mere 2.8K. Am I even going to cringe to this? I mean, it's Tom McDonald. I know I'm going to cringe a little. He's already giving me some very weird vibes with the suit and obviously the black contacts and everything. Oh, I'm so edgy. Oh, I'm so dark. Nobody's like me. I'm different. I'm different. I'm different. So, that's certainly going to come through, especially on a song titled People So Stupid, where, Tom's essentially probably going to relay the message that everyone's dumb, people are so dumb, dumb people do this, dumb people do that, and I'm the smart guy. I'm the scientist of more says negatively, the narrative best. Let's go.
Hi, I'm praying that the world changes soon. Can't get a doobie on a plane, but there's Uzis in our schools.
The world would still be stupid if you were, allowed to smoke joints on a plane, dude. While there shouldn't be Uzis in our schools, which, mind you, they're not brought into the school legally. You could also bring a doobie into a plane illegally if you wanted to. It's kind of confusing. I mean, I get the gun control thing, but, it would still be kind of stupid to allow people to, smoke in a plane where everyone has to share the same air and share the same space. When you're talking about Uzis in our schools and school shootings, I mean, you're discussing a whole wide cross-section of problems coming together, whether it comes to social isolation, mental health, the prevalence of firearms, and just the ease with which people are able to get them and bring them into places where they shouldn't be. I mean, these are societal problems that go beyond whether or not the rules say it's okay. Let's keep going. Everyone working at Hooters oh, hey, girls, get ready. Push the boobies up. We're about to get the after grade school rush. Or is this more like a Tom McDonald specific thing, or maybe his dad brought him to Hooters after he'd get out of school or something? Personally, going into my own back history and even the back history of some of my friends, there wasn't a whole lot of going to Hooters after school. So I don't so much know about Hooters kind of being the card that came out of, the house of cards of society, and just the whole thing tumbled.
We're all triggered and defensive, we're all racist and we're sexist. We all grew up watching South Park. How are we offended?
Not everyone grew up watching South Park, and South Park doesn't necessarily inoculate you from being offended, and the things that people are offended over don't necessarily have to do directly with South Park. I mean, I don't know, Nazis saying racist stuff, for example. There's not really anything per se in South Park that when you watch it enough times, at least in my mind, because I watched plenty of South Park, that should communicate to you, yeah, it's okay for Nazis to be Nazis. That's fine. I forget that South Park episode.
Man, it used to be cooler to slip a bird to the system, and now it's trendy to be triggered and pretend you're a victim. It's my race, it's my weight, it's because I'm a Christian. I hate the internet and anyone who has an opinion.
I don't really sort of get this mental leap that Tom McDonald is making here. How is talking about the discrimination that people suffer at the hands of their identity, or rather the way their identity is treated by society and by the system, how is that not being anti-system? That is being against the conformity that the system forces on all of us. That is being against the system. That is not pro-system. Stop whining! Stop whining about how unfair life is! Stop complaining so much! that is pro-system. That is telling people to stop worrying about the status quo and the way things are. Stop trying to change things. That is pro-system. You are pro-system right now with this track.
Let's talk about abortion. Sorry, tell me how this works. Bacteria is life on Mars, but a heartbeat isn't life on Earth.
Wow, I had no idea that Tom McDonald was going to come out as pro-life in this video, but here we are. I feel like Tom McDonald is just plagiarizing these takes because I've heard this stupid take. For one, we're talking about life in two completely different contexts. We're talking about whether or not the atmosphere of a planet can sustain life so that maybe one day we could go to it and colonize it or something. And then we're also talking about the right that a woman should have to decide whether or not she will have a child. Those are completely different topics, one of which is very much a moral concern, which doesn't necessarily extend to the other. It's not like you have pro-choice people on Earth being like, no, the bacteria on Mars, save the bacteria. Oh. We're gonna run out of tissues, it's so dumb. Oh my god, this is one of his shittiest and most terrible Eminem ripoff hooks ever. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, so stupid, so dumb.
Call me homophobic because I don't want to date guys.
Nobody thinks that. Just don't hate homosexual people or want to limit their rights. And no one should reasonably assert that you're a homophobic person. His victim complex is just fucking insane. I don't know how much of it is real and how much of it he just kind of like plays up for the songs and the music videos because he knows there'll be like a bunch of fucking morons in the comments with like Punisher avatars, or like, you know, it'll be like a 35 to a 45-year-old dude with wraparound sunglasses and a red hat taking a selfie of himself in his truck, or somebody with like an anime avatar being like, oh man, I'm so glad somebody is speaking the truth right now. The other day, somebody said I should have sex with a gay person, and I said no, and they said, what are you, homophobic? Literally happened to nobody fucking ever. It doesn't happen.
And along the way, give trophies to children for losing just because they decide to play.
The every kid gets a trophy argument, how many times have we heard that? Here we go. How about also this over here? Ba-boom.
Exercise a right to vote and hate the politicians. Ay, this is a democracy. It's partly your decision. Ay.
Wow. If there was ever like a pro-system take, I would say it's that. Like, why are you so mad at the politicians? You voted for him. It's partially your decision. Like, I don't know. I guess it's very, very, very partially, since most political campaigns are corporate funded and not really fighting for the constituents that they're supposed to represent. And we effectively live in an oligarchy at this moment in time. But Jesus Christ, it's like an amazing ruse that Tom McDonald has been effectively able to convince his audience, like, yeah, people just aren't fucking the system anymore. And then like he'll make line after line after line of just like straight bootlicking. Tom McDonald, like, fuck, dude. The boot, you're just supposed to lick it. It's not a whole meal, bro.
If I identify as a female, then when my balls and penis disappear, children want to
Whoa, okay. Getting transphobic, let's go. Gender, an expression of one's identity. It's not the same thing as biological sex. That's where we are scientifically. That's where the literature says we are. Who's the authority on this? People who have been writing about and studying biological sex and gender theory for decades, or this fucking guy?
Look, I get it. It's like the world is going crazy. Seems like a school shooting happens almost daily. The racism, rape culture, hatred that we're facing is way too ingrained for our hashtags to change it. We've become so lazy and complacent, afraid of our generation. We think activism's Instagramming memes and complaining.
No. Tom, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You don't get to do this semi-woke turn in the middle of the track when basically you're reducing anybody speaking up about anything as being like, oh, everybody's just going wah, 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 wah. And you're making this track during a time when people are literally out in the streets, like burning down buildings, breaking cop cars, like fighting the police, getting beaten, getting shot, getting gassed, getting killed just to stop police violence. Like, people aren't just Instagramming their activism. Of course, that's happening to a degree. There are people who are just doing it for attention, but a great deal of individuals are literally out there pounding the pavement, doing the work, and fighting the good fight and making things actually change. There are literally police forces that are currently being defunded, resources being reallocated because of these protests, because of these fights that are ongoing in the streets. Okay, I'm done. I don't think we need to listen to the rest of this shit because this chorus is fucking ass. Look, Tom McDonald, just super fucking sad. Super sad, and I feel bad for anybody who's like eating this shit up because this is fucking bullshit. Like, Tom McDonald is really running like a grift here, where he's giving you this facade of like, I'm alternative, I'm against the norms, I'm outside of the matrix. Which, look, don't let Tom McDonald's
Hey Pokemon fans, Tamashi here, and today I'll be showing you my top 10 favorite Pokemon. For a long time I didn't have any favorites, because I really love all Pokemon. And while that's still true, there are some that have sentimental value to me more than others. It was really hard narrowing it down to my top 10, so I'm going to have quite a few honorable mentions as well. Anyway, let's get this countdown started. Kicking off the list at number 10 is a bit of an unusual choice. Nosepass and its evolution Probopass make it on the many people's least favorite list instead. When I was a kid, I had a big giant nose. No, really, it was huge. I was super self-conscious about my nose, to the point where I'd wear my hair in my face just to cover it. But then Gen 3 came out, and the very first gym leader, Roxanne, had this strange little Pokemon that was basically a giant nose. At first I didn't really know what to think of it, but then I realized that if a Pokemon like Nosepass can use its giant schnoz to its advantage, maybe my big nose wasn't so bad either. I can empathize with Nosepass and Probopass in a way. People call them such ugly Pokemon, because they're just big noses. And I know if someone put me on a least favorite list for my big nose, I'd feel so sad. So don't worry guys, your noses make you some of my favorite Pokemon. Number 9. Mew is special to me because the only Pokemon event I've ever attended in person was the download event for Mew in 2006 at Toys R Us. At the time, Pokemon wasn't so popular, so I thought I'd be the only one to show up. To my surprise, there were a ton of Pokemon fans in line for it. I was too shy to ask any of them to play it with me, but it made me really happy to see there were still so many Pokemon fans out there. Back then, event Pokemon like this were a big deal, and it was exciting to head down to the store to pick one up. Nowadays, it's not so special. Often you can just download mystery gift Pokemon from your own home. Mew has always been the one legendary Pokemon that truly felt mysterious and rare, and for that reason it's one of my favorite Pokemon. And hey, it looks like a kitty. What's not to love? Number 8. Heracross. There are a few reasons why I like this Pokemon. The first of which being that it reminds me of what inspired the concept of Pokemon. As many of you know from the first episode of Pokemon Beta Secrets, part of what inspired Satoshi Tajiri to come up with Pokemon was his childhood love of catching bugs, particularly beetles, and how he would like to study them. For a long time, bug types in the game were very underpowered, but Heracross with its Megahorn attack turned that all around. It was durable, it was tough, and it was just what the typing needed to give it some real clout. But that's not the only reason I like it. On the day I met Justin in person, we exchanged Pokemon plushes. I gave him my first ever plush, a Pikachu, and he gave me a plush of one of his favorite Pokemon, Heracross. Whenever I missed him, whenever I was feeling scared, it was Heracross that made me feel better. And so, it earned a spot as one of my favorite Pokemon. Number 7. You never forget your first Pokemon. And mine, like many kids who started with Red and Blue, was Charmander. Since I didn't know how to read when I first started playing Pokemon, I didn't know how to save either, so I started new games over and over and over again. Every single time I picked Charmander. And every single time I named it Sasha. Why Sasha? I honestly can't remember. I think I just liked the name. Eventually, when I figured out how to save the game, I played through the whole thing, and Sasha became a Charmeleon and then a Charizard. I even transferred it to my gold version when Gold and Silver came out, and it ended up being the first Pokemon I ever raised to level 100. Unfortunately, since the save battery ran out, Sasha is long gone, and even if I replace it, I can never get her back. But even so, her memory lives on, and to this day, because of Sasha, the Charmander line is one of my favorites, which is why it deserves number 7. Number 6. In spite of my love for Charmander though, one other starter Pokemon tops it. Oshawott, the Gen 5 water starter, has to be the cutest Pokemon yet. Ordinarily, I prefer weird Pokemon to cute ones, but Oshawott is the perfect mix of both. I've always loved otters, and it's about damn time they made an otter Pokemon. Much like Sasha, my Samurott Elanma was the first Pokemon in a long time I raised to level 100. I guess this one is more based on design than sentimental value, but I do love the new as much as I love the old, so it's fitting that a brand new Pokemon would take the number 6 spot. Number 5. To explain this one, I'm going to need to tell you a story. When I was in middle school, I played 3rd Gen over and over. I'd start new save files, play through them, and then trade with myself and store all of my Pokemon on my Ruby version. Then I'd release what I didn't trade to Ruby and start a new save file. One of these times, one of the Pokemon I didn't trade to my Ruby was a Carvana. When I went to release it, something weird happened. It came swimming back. I was astounded. I had never had that happen before. I know now that it's a normal part of the game, and that it happens because it's your last Pokemon that knows Surf. And the game doesn't want you to be stranded in case you're in a place that you have to surf to get away from. But at the time, I was super touched that this Carvana liked me that much. And ever since, Carvana and its evolution Sharpedo have been some of my favorite Pokemon. Number 4. Lilligant is a beautiful Pokemon that's also a ton of fun to play with. Its move pool is great, and it allows you to use it a ton of different ways. With Own Tempo, it can use Petal Dance and not get confused. It can learn Sleep Powder to put enemies out of commission, and Dream Eater to recover health. And it can even learn Quiver Dance to boost its stats. Not only does it have a great design and playstyle, but it's based off of my favorite flower, lilies. Along with Elanma, Valia, my Lilligant is finally level 100, and it was a joy to have on my team. Number 3. It's story time again. So when I was a kid, my stuffed animals were my favorite toys, and I made up unique personalities, backstories, and epic adventures for each one of them. Some kids had imaginary friends, but I had my stuffed animals, and I truly believe they were really alive in some way. I remember once I even cried and apologized to my favorite one, Cheesy, for playing too rough with him. I still have nearly all of them, and the ones I don't have I donated to charities and Goodwill, so the kids might be able to play with them still, and they'll be loved and happy for a long time to come. That's where Bannet comes in. Its Pokedex entry reads, "An abandoned plush doll became this Pokemon. They are said to live in garbage dumps and wander about in search of the children that threw them away. The thought of this just breaks my heart. Poor Bannet. If I could hug and take in every Bannet in the world, I would." Number 2. Mime Jr. and Mr. Mime. For a long time I was dead set against EV training. I thought the whole idea of competitive battling was terrible, particularly breeding for IVs in nature, and that it made Pokemon just numbers and not friends. I decided to try with my second playthrough of Heart Gold to EV train a team of randomly generated Pokemon, just so I could learn how. And the first Pokemon I ended up training was a Mime Jr. named Marcel. I didn't know about the new power items introduced in 4th Gen, so I only used the Macho Brace and Pokerus, and from the very start of the game I EV trained my entire team before I even got my first gym badge. So, did it turn them into numbers and stats and not friends? Actually, it did the exact opposite. After all the hard work getting it trained just right and maxing out its EVs, I felt closer to Marcel at the start of the game than I would to most of my Pokemon by the time I would finish a game normally. And since you can talk to your Pokemon and have them follow you, it really made Marcel feel like a true friend more than ever. As he grew up and evolved into a Mr. Mime, he proved to be a really reliable companion. He had great special defense, great special attack, a great move pool for coverage, and overall he worked really hard for me and the team. Even though he has a detrimental nature, and I don't know what his IVs are, he's still a great Pokemon. And he showed me you don't have to sacrifice the sentimental to train your Pokemon to their full potential. So the whole team ended up being one of the best teams I've ever raised. Marcel in particular stands out as one of my best friends. Before we get to the number 1 spot, I have a few honorable mentions I want to cover. These didn't quite make my top 10, but they're still among my favorites. First of all is a Pokemon often overlooked because it's the mascot of the series, Pikachu. Though a lot of people think it's cliche to like the little guy, there's a lot of good reasons to. For one thing, he was picked as the series mascot because of his gender-neutral appeal. It was cute enough that girls would like it, but still cool enough at the same time that boys would like it. And I think it's great that they put that much thought into what they wanted to represent the franchise. Not only that, but it's a really cool Pokemon to battle with. Thanks to the Light Ball, it's actually a viable Pokemon without needing to evolve it completely. And if you use it right, it can be a tough force to reckon with, proving that when it comes to battling, size doesn't always matter. Psyduck and I have a lot in common. We both get huge headaches. I wish mine could give me awesome powers like his though. Ladybug and Ledian are also among my favorites, because they remind me of my grandma. She always liked ladybugs a lot, and ladybugs always make me think of her. And my number 1 favorite Pokemon is... well, actually, it's a tie. Skitty and Meowth tie for the number 1 spot. Growing up, I had this wonderful kitty named Gypsy. She was there through all the good and bad growing up, and she was my baby. But sadly, she passed away in 2009 at the age of only 9 years old, I was completely devastated. No cat in Pokemon resembled her at the time, and I thought the one that acted the most like her was Skitty, so it became my favorite. For those reasons, Skitty is still among my favorites, but another kitty Pokemon has risen up in the ranks lately. When I was a kid, I was never fond of Meowth because he was one of the bad guys on the show. But now that I'm older, Meowth is actually tied with Skitty as my favorite Pokemon, and I can see it is not just the character from the anime, but as an individual Pokemon in its own right. Meowth is responsible for teaching me how to read, as the Pokemon Junior book featuring it was the first book I ever read all on my own. Reading opened up a whole new world of information for me, and if it wasn't for Meowth, I'd never have discovered my love for investigation and research, and my videos would never have been possible. So there you have it, my top 10 and then some favorite Pokemon. Remember, these are my personal picks, and I really love all Pokemon, so if I didn't pick one you like, I probably still like it too. Thank you for watching and stick around for more Pokemon videos. See ya!
I saw a couple people, like, I've talked about this kind of topic, this general topic, a couple of times, and something that I noticed several times kind of coming up was, like, a common theme that I noticed was that people were saying, oh man, like, I just built this new team and now I can't use it, or like, oh my god, my whole team, like, was all removed. So something I thought could be interesting, like, and of course it's not going to be perfect, but something I thought could be interesting is talking about maybe some potential replacements for Pokemon that are removed. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and preface this by saying it's hard. It's really hard to replace these Pokemon because a lot of them are unique. So some approximations are better than others, but keep in mind that you can't just really take these Pokemon and slap them in on your team in most cases and expect it to work the same way. Like, you're definitely going to do a little bit more legwork. But if you're confused about where to go, and if there's like a role that one specific Pokemon was filling that maybe you want to like keep the same structure of the team and maybe just look to change out one Pokemon, you could at least consider. Again, this is not going to be perfect by any means, but I think it could, like, in some cases it could actually like still work. In other cases it won't be as good, but I'll tell you when I personally think that things are not as good. So I've only covered the 10 Pokemon that were top 10 in VGT usage here. We'll just go through them one at a time. The first one's Incineroar. Incineroar is a Pokemon that is known for just being a great support Pokemon, but also not being limited to only support. We've already seen weakness policy in Incineroar in this format. Typical moves are Fake Out, Parting Shot, Flare Blitz, and a Dark move. Lash Out or Darkest Lariat or Snarl are normally your go-to ones. It has some other good moves as well. I've seen Earthquake, I've seen Thunder Punch. I don't think Thunder Punch is phenomenal. You can run U-Turn if you're running Assault Vest over Parting Shot. You can run Snarl, like I mentioned. Bulldoze, in theory, could be used like against close combat now, which is kind of a big deal. So it's got good moves, but basically this is kind of your typical bulky Fire-type Intimidate support Pokemon. Good defensive stats across the board, a low speed stat, but yeah, overall good stats. The closest thing that you're going to get to Incineroar is Arcanine, in my opinion. Arcanine is also an intimidating Fire-type Pokemon. It loses some of the benefits of being Dark-type, and its bulk is slightly worse, but it is faster, which means you typically are going to run Will-O-Wisp on it, you can run Helping Hand on it, you can run Snarl. It does not get Fake Out, however, it doesn't necessarily need it, and this is a format where Fake Out is less important, so if you were going to use like another, like the Pokemon that's closest to Incineroar and it's a relatively good approximation is Arcanine. They do different things, like they're not the same Pokemon, but it's pretty close. If you really want like an Intimidate Fake Out Pokemon, you can also consider Scrafty and Hitmontop. With the removal of Togekiss, these Pokemon should be a little stronger as well. But if you want, like, in general, Arcanine is going to be the closest thing you will get to your Incineroar now that it's been banned. Thank you, buy my merch. Togekiss is the next one. So Togekiss dominated the whole format. This approximation is not phenomenal, but it's not horrible either. Effectively, Togekiss normally did two things. It was either a support set with Follow Me, Protect. Actually, they didn't even necessarily Protect. Follow Me, Yawn, Helping Hand, Safeguard, Air Slash, Dazzling Gleam. Good speed stat, really good bulk, great typing. Mostly supportive, could be annoying in lots of different ways. Also had access to Dynamaxing and Scope Lens. So Scope Lens Super Luck means half your moves will crit. Meaning you can Dynamax your Togekiss and have it be actually offensive in addition to already having Follow Me for support. So it's a versatile Pokemon. It's been like the most popular Pokemon in the metagame for a while now. It's a good Pokemon. I should say one of the most popular, not necessarily the most popular. I would say the closest thing you're going to get to Togekiss is probably Clefairy. It loses out on the offensive capabilities. You're never going to Dynamax Clefairy, and it helps you well with it. But it gains some defensive things. For example, it has access to Friend Guard, which is a great ability. Because you're not attacking with it, you can have like for example, Togekiss didn't always run Helping Hand, but Clefairy almost always will have it. Protect, Helping Hand, Follow Me, and one more. Sting, Moonblast, Icy Wind, Life Dew in theory could work, stuff like that. But yeah, basically this is gonna be the closest you're gonna get. It's like basically like purely the support aspects of Togekiss. You can't run a berry, you can't run any items, so you can't run Babbery Berry, you can't run Focus Sash or anything like that. But it's pretty close. The other thing you consider is Amoonguss, who uses Rage Powder instead of Follow Me, which is strictly worse. There's no reason that you'd use Rage Powder over Follow Me, except not everything gets Follow Me. Amoonguss in general is a better Pokemon. It can be disruptive. Spore is a phenomenal attack. Regenerator is a great ability. These two are kind of going to be the premier redirectors in the format. Now that Indeedee and Togekiss are gone. So yeah, I think Amoonguss isn't bad either. Like, you just lose the offensive power, basically, of offensive Togekiss. But in a support set, Amoonguss and Clefairy are pretty good approximations. Yeah. I feel like we should also use this opportunity to talk about Indeedee. I'm going to say the same thing about Indeedee. You also use either Clefairy or Amoonguss for Indeedee female. That was one of the most popular in top 10, so that's one that was removed. I thought about talking about other potential ways to activate Psychic Terrain, but like, frankly, Psychic Surge is the only real way you're going to want to consistently do this. You don't want to use the move Psychic Terrain, and you certainly don't want to use like Max Psychic consistently. So, the offense, I think Ferrothorn, it's very, maybe more, maybe less, maybe the same.
Music in general, you've by now heard of or have seen other people talk about the Masked MC MF Doom. From his start in KMD to his debut in 1999, Doom has garnered a cult following while still remaining largely unknown by mainstream audiences. In contrast, most every career rapper not only know who Doom is, but many have mentioned him in interviews, on social media, or even in their own music. Because as this user puts it, MF Doom is your favorite rapper's favorite rapper.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
The YouTube algorithm just loves to sandbag my videos in search and discovery, and hitting the like button minimizes this and helps to spread the video to a wider audience. Alright, now on to the free content. Gambino is easily one of my favorite artists of the last decade, and while I'm not a big fan of his most recent record, I definitely have a lot of love and appreciation for his earlier projects. Off his first studio album on the track That Power, Gambino says, he had a very similar bar like this on his 2008 mixtape Sick Boy.
Used to go hungry when I bought him new shoes, now I'm like, food like MF Doom.
These references may not come as a surprise to any long-term Gambino fans. In fact, Glover once cited The Pharcyde and Doom as artists that he would listen to on loop during his college years.
MF Doom. When I was in college, that's all I listened to freshman and sophomore year. And it was great because he had a cool voice, he was rapping about comics, but also he was doing punchline raps way before anybody was doing it. Even before Lil Wayne got a hold of it.
Love him or hate him, back in 2013, Drake put out this tweet in reference to the track Accordion. This tweet sparked minor backlash from hip-hop heads who found it almost impossible for a mainstream artist such as Drake to be a fan of Doom.
These underground hip-hop heads are getting mad because Drake quoted MF Doom.
A similar situation would occur 4 years later in 2017 when Drake took to Instagram and posted this photo of the Mad Villainy album cover, and again referenced the track Accordion in the description. And just like last time, controversy spilled over on whether or not Drake was actually a fan of Doom. Most recently, however, earlier this year, Drake shouted out some of his favorite hip-hop artists on his Instagram story. Among them, none other than MF Doom made the list. It's undeniable that Peggy, aka JPEG Mafia, was heavily inspired by MF Doom. From his oddball experimental approach to lyricism, to the mostly self-produced nature of his projects like Veteran and All My Heroes, it's not all that surprising that Peggy would reference Doom in multiple tracks. On the track Post Verified, Peggy raps, lastly, on a Primera Sound interview, Peggy is asked about his influences, to which he responds,
I looked up to MF Doom in particular a lot because his come up was kind of strange, you know? He kind of was in the industry, and then he left the industry because of tragedy, and then he came back almost like on some revenge shit or something. I don't know. It's kind of like he's like the anti-hero to me. But
to most fans of rap, it's no surprise that Earl and Tyler are huge fans of MF Doom. Nardwuar has gifted the two multiple Doom collectibles on separate occasions, but most notably to me, the two geeked out when attending Doom's performance way back in 2013 during their tour in Europe.
Oh my god!
Crying?
Ugly. My nigga too is a damn shame. Just remember all cats. When you spell it, man, stay. Big letters. Big letters, y'all.
Aside from this tweet and being featured on an Avalanche's track with Doom, Danny Brown went more in depth on his love for the villain in an interview with Complex when discussing his top 25 favorite albums. Mad Villainy ranked 12, and he said this:
Never knew you could make an entire album without hooks and make it sound that good. You broke the rules of songwriting. That album broke rules for me. I'm all about that. That album showed me that music has no rules. Before that, I thought you needed 16 bars in a hook to make a good song. I listened to that album and it clicked. Then I could listen to his old shit and get it.
But by far, my personal favorite reference has to be this interaction Danny and Kenny Beats had on The Cave.
Hey bro, stop playing the MF Doom, you scaring all the
No,
chicks,
you
bro.
ain't. No, my ladies like the Doom. You know what I'm saying?
See, I don't know girls like that age.
My ladies like, yeah.
All the girls I meet have no idea.
30s and up, and they like you know what I'm saying? They like the villain. They like the metal.
I'm the biggest fan of all time, but when you play it for a girl and like your boy be like, hey bro, you can put on some Tigers.
You know what I'm saying? Get a little nag champer going, man. Throw some motherfucking vaudevillian on or some shit.
I think Joey Badass has the most tracks on this list that are rapped over an MF Doom beat. World Domination, End of This Rock, Oh Dear, Penny Royal, which is a track whose name was lifted off the original MF Doom beat. It's no surprise that the track Deep Fried Friends is referenced on the outro of Hilary Swank.
Oh, my Shakti, आज पहली बार तुमने काम की बात की.
In March of 2009, while hanging out in the studio and working on what would later become his fourth studio album, a video was recorded of Mos Def geeking out over the masked MC. In this now infamous video, aside from reciting lyrics from Food for like 5 minutes straight, he also had this to say in regards to Madlib and Doom's classic Mad Villainy.
He rhymes as weird as I feel. I don't know if that makes any sense, you know what I'm saying? Like, dude, I swear to God, when I saw that Mad Villain record, I bought it on vinyl. I didn't even have a record. I bought it on vinyl just to stare at the album.
Wi-Fi's Funeral has an entire video on the Pitchfork YouTube channel breaking down his favorite verses on Victor Vaughn's Fancy Clown.
And I was like, I didn't hear his vocals yet, and then the first song that I heard from him was Fancy Clown. And that was like 2014, 2015. And I remember my mom banging on the phone.
One of the more controversial entries on this list has to be Freddie What City Fam Gibbs, when in July of 2019, Gibbs was questioned on how he felt in regards to his collaboration with Madlib being compared to Mad Villainy.
We should also talk about the Mad Villain album, which was, have you spent time with that, Gibbs?
Yeah, definitely. I tried to top that. When, like, I used to hate when people would be like, oh man, yeah, this Mad Villain.
Let me tell you about this.
Yeah, so every day, I'm a competitive guy. And I know Doom can't rap as good as me at all. Like, so it ain't like he can't rap you can't rap like this, fam. Like, so he made a great project.
That's MF Doom, bro.
I don't care.
He's an icon.
I'm Kane season, fam. So
Don't compare.
you can't really compare me to nobody. So it's like I was like, damn man, like I can rap better than this dude, but can I make a better album than him? You know what I'm saying? So that was my focus.
It's like,
I gotta make something as great as he made. You know what I'm saying?
While it's clear to most that this was just a tongue-in-cheek jab and that Gibbs and Doom are likely on good terms, that didn't stop a vocal minority of Doom fans from being outraged at what merely amounted to a competitive joke, most of which probably failed to realize that the two rappers have put out music together in the past. The level of artistic appreciation Chicago-raised rapper Open Mike Eagle has for MF Doom is immense. On top of the several tracks they've collaborated on, he had this to say in regards to the villain.
His flow, I have to be careful with his flow because his flow lives in my mind and like in my heart. I can almost get into his mind in terms of how he writes.
Much like Doom himself, Steez is a low-key artist with a cult following, most of who I imagine know who MF Doom is. With that being said, Capital Steez has multiple of his iconic raps laid over an MF Doom production, tracks like Dead on Arrival and Chicago. The most interesting reference to me though can be found on one of my favorite Capital Steez songs. At the end of the vibrating music video, the camera turns to face Steez, as the song All Caps can be heard playing over the raw audio of the video. What I I love about this is that Steez and his friends were just casually listening to MF Doom while shooting for this video. It just goes to show how much of a genuine fan of Doom Steez really was. In an interview with XXL back in December of 2013, Lupe Fiasco comments on a few of his favorite rappers from Kanye West to Outkast and more. Amongst these artists, he mentioned Doom, saying,
"The artist whom I find greatly interesting and inspiring is MF Doom.
In an interview with Hip Hop DX, Nas mentioned how he's been wanting to work with Doom, and how he'd like to get both Doom and Jay Electronica on his upcoming album. His controversial 9th studio album would eventually release featuring Jay Electronica, but sadly no Doom. Doom himself has mentioned Nas in a 2012 interview, a few days before the release of Keys to the Cuffs, saying that,
I was at Nas's pool party. That shit was dope. I even bought a present."
Yep. I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Who run the world? Moms. Who run the world? Mommy. Moms are like actual superheroes. Life straight up does not exist without them, yet they are nowhere to be seen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yo, what the flip? They deal with their bodies transforming. They deal with childbirth. They deal with milk coming out their titties. They deal with not sleeping. They deal with your bitch ass complaining about how you didn't get a Lego set for your 7th birthday. Bitch, do you know how expensive Legos are? What's your credit score? What's your credit score? Do you have any established credit? No, because you're 7 years old. Now shut the fuck up and give your mom a hug. The only reason you're even watching this dumbass video right now is because some badass lady decided to carry your goofy butt in her body for the shittier part of a year before blasting you out in the most painful way possible. And my mom did that 8 times. 8 times! And you might be thinking, well, that was her choice. Yeah, you goofy bitch, it was her choice because Janiqua is a goddamn superwoman who chose to be generous with her gift of granting life to these beautiful children who all suffered from severe acne at some point. I'm just trying to say that moms straight up do not get enough appreciation. Mother's Day once a year, fuck that. Mother's Day every day, 365, 25/8, no days off, protein shakes, swole life. Never back down to the beatdown. And do you know where mommies are needed most, other than everywhere, all the time? Video games, you Daffy Duck looking bitch. I asked Twitter who some of the best mommies in video games are, and apart from a handful of good examples, most video game moms are typically pushed to the background and forgotten, or they're just plain fucking awful. Red's mom and Pokemon's motherly instinct must have just got fucking lost in the tall grass. Hey lady, your son is 11 years old. Maybe don't let him run off to fight fucking water dinosaurs with an electric rat because it said so on TV. Sephiroth's mommy? Some freak-ass alien twink that you gotta fight like 60 times. The Binding of Isaac mommy who just wants to do sweet things with you, like murder you. It's so cute. Oh, dinner's ready, Sora's mom? Dinner's ready? Oh, that's so perfect. Because your son is gone. Dinner is gone. What I'm getting at is that there are a lot of bad moms in video games. However, there are some good ones as well. Dr. Tenenbaum in BioShock may have been the one that created the nightmare-fueled little sisters, but then she began to care about them and became their adoptive mom. She just wants to protect the little shits and begs you to turn them back into weird little goblin people instead of gobbling them up, as in eating them. Yeah,